Hi, I want to talk about The Shining, 1980s The Shining. Of course, Stanley Kubrick and Jack Nicholson. Much has been made about this film and why he took it. The story is Kubrick was struggling with projects to find, slamming books off walls till he found The Shining. And I mean, that obvious correlation between Kubrick and a book with a bit of writer going and saying, I think it's just a direct connection. I think he felt himself becoming extremely frustrated with writing and found the book about a writer going mad and attached himself to it. I mean, he did, of course, become completely claustrophobic and isolated in later life, staying in his mansion in London. And I think from there, that kind of personal connection to a film, which he probably only got for the first time in his life, and he from there found a way to artistically satisfy him. Now, as an aspiring filmmaker myself, the geometry of a scene where characters come and go can be complicated. He, of course, then found the thrill in building the Overlook Hotel and working out the shots, the geometry, shape, and size, and where everyone was moving. For it, there's subtextual stuff towards the Indians, which I know for a fact in my own mind, and then that I believe it's there. That he shoehorned that in subtextually after working out the shape of the story, the screenplay, his personal touch, the story of madness, how he was going to handle it, and that all came later. The carpet and things like that, having Indian references and Indian monuments throughout the hotel. There's a quiet reference to some Indians shooting arrows when the hotel was being built. Jack Nicholson, of course, is known for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, he's immediately mad when you look at him. Like, he flicks his grin and it's projected onto him after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So, like, he's mad as soon as he gets to the hotel. The interesting subtext I think is played with is why he wants to kill Wendy. Is it out of frustration or madness? Is it an apparition? And that's just a fun thing to play with. Kubrick isn't even certain of his madness because he kills the night manager. He kind of swings the axe at him as he comes around the corner in a fit of madness. I mean, up until that, you could argue that he just wants to hurt Wendy. That he's hurt Danny before. Like, I mean, Kubrick is deliberately leaving his madness up to us, which frustrated Stephen King. Stephen King wanted a more certainty. It's about a writer losing his mind. That was the way he wrote the novel. A person who hadn't dealt with his parental issues and his own inadequacies and failures of life. And the haunting of the Overlook is a metaphor for that in Stephen King's novel. Whereas Kubrick kind of leaves it more vague. There are a couple of scenes I know from watching all of Jack Nicholson's films that he could have given you more. There's less intensity, there's less of a physicality there. Even when he swings the axe, there's kind of a pantomime to it. For somebody with such a deep psychological knowledge, like Kubrick knows what he's doing. He's holding back the madness. And not only is he holding back from the madness, he's using the overlook on the camera to distract you. I mean, he gives you so much to look at. I mean, this film would look, I had a weird observation. You could cut the film down to an hour and 45 minutes or speed it up. If you sped it up to 1:45 and watched it, it would feel more like a film today. Like, he's really agitated, really gone mad, really temperamental. But Kubrick, of course, I mean, it's like a work of art for the sake of it, using the medium of film. And that seems very apparent to me. I just used to start reading the novel, and there's loads of good stuff from the beginning. And there's a miniseries worth watching, I'm told. I'm going to check it out. But it's a smashing film. It's really strange how quickly he lays on the looming presence of madness, how watchable it is, especially considering the kind of films that have come after it. Like, so many films of kind of psychological breakdown or psychological madness, self-destructive alcoholics. If you go back and watch it, you feel in familiar territory. And it's such a sparse and bare film. I mean, there's literally no cutting in it at all. I mean, he has such confidence in what he's putting in the frame and how you're going to respond to it. I have to give him that. Like, he knows what Jack Nicholson's face is going to do. And even casting Jack, I mean, he's a functional, wealthy movie star. Okay, maybe some problems in his personal life, but he's still Jack Nicholson. He's kind of taken advantage of that. He's kind of taken advantage of, is Jack mad? As opposed to the character Jack Torrance. I mean, he's laying all that on you. Oh, we know Jack's mad, but is something else going to come out of him? that wasn't there before, and he pushed Wendy, um, the actress, to the brink of breaking point. So, why didn't he push Jack? Why didn't he get more sweat out of him? He deliberately left it all bare. Um, and he would have known that as well. He would have thought about that thoroughly, because he built the hotel, he designed it, he took ages on it. He would have known, you would have been thought of that. Why is it so restrained? Does he want us to focus on this? He's also taken advantage of his reputation as well. Shelley Duvall, I looked that up. He's also taken advantage of his reputation and Jack's. They expect something grand, they expect madness, but it's restrained. And all these little clues laid out, the kind of Indian face on the cans of food scattered throughout the hotel. And what he really wants is this, Kubrick, art for the sake of art, conversation for the sake of conversation. Because conversation leads to more conversation, and that enriches the mind, and that's where art begins. And I think that's why he did it. And it's an interesting film in of itself. And it's a weird thing. Without The Shining, I don't think you'd get David Lynch. I mean, there's a definite correlation there. Using a narrative film as a means of communicating ideas, semiotics, visual communication, and the music, of course, is really inviting. Lumbers along. It's quiet in places, menacing. And it all ends in kind of an anticlimax, of course. Jack is left frozen in the sand. Nothing more to it. The blood, of course, in the elevator was, references to the blood of the Indians. That is a wonderful visual gag, but it's also one of those things, when he thought about it, you have to go with it. It's also a brilliant visual act of madness, if you want, as well. Christopher Nolan, of course, ripped that off for the elevator scenes in Inception. He likes to do that. Yeah, overall a fantastic film. Worth going back. I mean, you can go over all the things I said and you can add to it. I'd actually love and expect people to comment on this one. So like and subscribe.